Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. I hope everyone is good, inshallah. I just started slightly early today because today might take a bit of time, so I thought I'll just kind of start slightly early. Well, not really early, but 30 seconds early. So I'll just, inshallah, share the live stream now, and I hope everyone is able to hear me clearly. And inshallah, we'll just be starting in 20-25 seconds, inshallah. So please let everyone know, let me know that the voice is clear. I'm not really following any comments, but inshallah, please let me know on the live stream as well. So just let me know about the voice, please, guys, that the voice is clear, inshallah. Anyone can type along and let me know, inshallah. I'll speak slightly louder once we start, inshallah. Okay, inna alhamdulillah nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So I hope everyone is doing good, inshallah, and Dhul Hajj is going great as well. So inshallah, we are trying to send reminders as we are moving along. So inshallah, there's another reminder today at 9 p.m., which is going to be premiering at the Islamic Youth Club International, inshallah. So, you can actually, inshallah, take benefit from that, as well as the other reminders which we are sending. So now back to our subject, Tilbees, Iblees, the devil's deceptions of this great book, Ibn al-Jawzi. And we started discussing the concept of the political and the theological Shia'ism last week. And I think we'll continue, inshallah, from where we kind of ended, although it will not be exactly from there. So as we have learned so far, that the political philosophy of how the actual Shia'ism has come to be known is a historical fact. It's a difference of opinion. It's something which has existed. And as we've explained, there is no problem with that. Yeah. And please, guys, do share this with, inshallah, our Shia brothers and sisters, our friends, because, inshallah, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to do these lessons from an angle that, inshallah, the right kind of theology or the right kind of historical context of this entire episode is given, albeit obviously in a summarized fashion. And then we are able to mend ways, inshallah, because towards the end of the lecture today, which I think is going to be slightly longer, we are going to be also discussing as to how the actual theology of Shia'ism has evolved and what it has actually become, which we need to really, you can say that reflect upon and have our Shia brothers and sisters really kind of do a deep dive and internal reflection as to whether what has been taught to them is the real honest philosophy of Ali or Ahlul Bayt or Hassan or Hussein or Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ajma'in. So that is very important for us to really get to grips of. Now, we love Ahlul Bayt, obviously that is regardless, as in an authentic narration, Prophet ﷺ once gathered Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hussein under his cloak, and then he said that these are my Ahlul Bayti, this is my family. And this is authentically reported by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we love them dearly. As Ahlul Sunnah, obviously no one can take this away from us. But this love, we do not have to go to either extremes. That is very important for everyone to really understand. And, so within Sunni Islam, there are also extremes. So there is one extreme which goes on to revile Muawiyah and Yazid, and on the other extreme you have kind of a philosophy where where Yazid specifically is praised, in a fashion which probably might not be correct. So, and we'll conclude, inshallah, on the footing of really what is the right context of understanding this difference. How do we really truly understand who Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu was? And as we explained last week, that there are various levels of the Sahaba. Yeah. So Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he actually accepted Islam at the conquest of Makkah. So he is amongst the later generations of the Sahaba and very much a Sahabi. So we are never to doubt any of the intentions of the Sahaba. That is something which is extremely important for us to really and truly understand and make it really clear for ourselves. We will never doubt the intentions of any of the Sahaba. Yes, there is a possibility that if they have made a policy decision on governance, or if they have made kind of a political decision, okay, fine, when there is no nas, there's no shara, you can humbly, kind of disagree with that, but that is not to say that you doubt their intentions. Okay, so this is something which needs to be made very, very clear right from the word go, as we have been doing it for some time. Now, our love for, like I said, for Ahlul Bayt is second to none. Similarly, we also need to understand the love of the Sahaba for the Ahlul Bayt themselves. That is also second to none. And there are various reports, again, from Abu Bakr, from Umar, from Usman, where the love and affection between Ali, Usman, Abu Bakr, and Umar is very much known. Yeah, so much so that Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he actually, based on the hadith of Rasulullah, he actually, he wanted to be attached to the Ahlul Bayt. And for that reason, he proposed to the daughter of Ali, Kulthum bint Ali, to establish this kinship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Ali radiallahu anhu, he happily gave away Kulthum radiallahu anha to in the marriage of, in the nikah of Umar radiallahu anhu. Similarly, what we also see is that after kind of the various historical narrations and the facts which we have come to know about, we also know that Ali radiallahu anhu, he actually named some of his sons from other wives after Fatima radiallahu anha, she passed away, as Abu Bakr and Umar. Also, it is known that pre-Islam, the top two tribes in Quraysh were the Hashimi tribe and the Umayyad tribe. Now, as it happens that they were cousins, okay, and as it happens that sometimes there's problems, there is lack of, let's say, proper decorum between brothers or cousins, and they might have some differences, which was the case pre-Islam. So, this is not to suggest that animosity actually needs to be, even after both tribes accepted Islam and the Sahaba are from both of these tribes, that someone really pinpoints to say that animosity continues or continued. So what we see is, and again from various books, these kind of sessions which I am, alhamdulillah, giving are a subset of a number of notes which I have collected from various books, various lectures, and various kind of speakers, especially the books, the historical books of Tabari, some of them, the later day scholars as well. And what we see is that there are more than 20 intermarriages between the Umayyads and the Hashimis, as we move along even after the death of Usman radiallahu anhu. So one thing is certain, that whosoever says that there was any animosity, there was any problem, then obviously that is, we do not agree with that humbly, and we propose to them that, guys, look, how do you, if there was a problem, then why would Ali radiallahu anhu would give his daughter to Umar radiallahu anhu? Why would he do that? And why would he name his sons after the great pious, the first two caliphs of Islam? Why would he do that? Similarly, we also know from various narrations from Ali, where he has praised Abu Bakr and he served Abu Bakr. Yeah. Again, this is not to suggest that, if we go back to the Shia books, we also see that, and also from the Ahl Sunnah, there is a version of events which states that Ali radiallahu anhu actually took the bay'ah of Abu Bakr twice. Okay, so there is one version of event that he took it initially, and then afterwards, because there were people who were making hue and cry, and he took it again. That was just before the Battle of Ridda started. And then he said that I want to honor Abu Bakr and I want to increase the strength of the Muslims in order to fight the apostasy wars, which Abu Bakr started. So similarly, what we also see is that with relation to Umar radiallahu anhu, he actually served as one of the major cabinet ministers of both Abu Bakr and Umar, yeah, and even for Usman radiallahu anhu. Now, I would like to also say that even at the time of this fitna of the killing of Usman radiallahu anhu, he actually deputed both of his sons, Hassan and Hussein, to protect Usman against the fitna mongers. And day in and day out, so the total siege, which lasted a few months, and eventually, again, I'm not going to be going into the details of, the real cause of the fitna and everything. Again, you can go into, because that is not what the author, our author Ibn Jawzi, has gone into details. What we are discussing here is that how basically Shaitan, how Iblees has tricked Muslims not only to fight amongst themselves, but to have a version of history which has been intermingled with fables, with tales, unfortunately with fairy tales, with incorrect historical context, to do what? In order to have this division amongst the ranks of the Muslims. Yeah. So this is the reason, I will be staying, but on our topic. That is number one. But there is a historical context which one needs to truly understand. So what I'm trying to say is that, do we actually understand that the theology of Ali, the understanding of Hassan or Hussein, or the understanding of any of the sons of Ali after the death of Ali anhu, was any different to the theology of the Sahaba at large? Was there difference? Was there any difference in understanding the concept of Tawheed, for example? Was there any concept of understanding of how the Muslims understood the Seerah, how the Muslims understood the Quran, how the Muslims understood how the Quran was revealed, how the Muslims understood, the rank and file of the various kind of the fiqh rulings, or the Sharia at large, obviously, which was not being compiled at that stage. But was there any difference specifically in the theology? And as we have seen, that there was absolutely no difference. The understanding of Ahlul Bayt and the understanding of the rest of the Sahaba were the same. There was absolutely no difference. Yes, as we explained, that as it happens that there might be political differences even now. So there were certain political differences. Yeah. And specifically, but those political differences did not actually come down to the level of hating one another, hating or disagreeing to the theology of Islam, the core theology, the concept of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we understand the Godhood? How do we understand Tawheed? How do we truly understand the concept of Mahdi? Yeah. or in our brothers Shias, which they understand it to be the imamate, the 12 imams, the Ithna Ashri sect, which is there. So now, basically, what we see is that there is yani till you can say, the fifth, the 50 years, 60 years after the Hijrah, there is no issue. So Muawiyah actually ruled until the 60th 60th year after the Hijrah. There is no problem. Yes, like we've explained that Hassan anhu, he actually, after the death of Ali anhu, there was an issue that Muslims could have gone to war again. Yeah, so there was a possibility of another civil war between Hassan and Muawiyah anhu. Now that was averted by the supreme leadership of Hassan anhu, and he went over to Syria, to Sham, and there was an agreement, there was an arrangement, certain, again, there were certain clauses of the agreement that Muawiyah will rule by Quran and Sunnah, etc., etc. And there were certain other kind of clauses to the agreement, and that was signed. And Hassan anhu, in order to keep the unity of the Muslims, he left the caliphate. Okay, and this was nothing but pure wisdom from Hassan anhu. And may Allah elevate his ranks tremendously, inshallah. And our belief is that obviously Hassan and Hussein are from amongst the leaders of the people of Jannah, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to follow our leaders, not only in this dunya, but to follow the Ahlul Bayt. Inshallah, we are under the rank and file of Ahlul Bayt also in Jannah, inshallah. This is what our dua is. Now, saying that, so what then transpired? Yeah, we also understand that when we understand the concept of Ahlul Bayt, then it is also very clear that the bloodline of anyone will not save them from the consequences of the deeds of an individual. So the actions of an individual is going to be taken one to Jannah or to Nar. It is not the bloodline. Okay, this is very clear. So if the deeds of an individual has pulled someone back, then obviously the bloodline is not going to push that person forward on the Day of Judgment. Now, from our perspective, from the Sunni perspective, there are levels of Ahlul Bayt. So there is a broader context. So first of all, for our friends under the Shia Islam, they actually regard the descendants of Fatima to just be Ahlul Bayt. Yeah. And they not really concentrate on the truly Quranic concept of Ahlul Bayt, which is the broader context, which speaks about the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, from for Ahlul Sunnah perspective, Ahlul Bayt is a broader context. It involves the descendants of Fatima anha, the wives of the Prophet sallallahu the descendants of Abbas anhu. And then this is kind of the broader context of how do we really understand Ahlul Bayt. Now, Hussein bin Ali and Hassan bin Ali, the leaders in paradise, at the death of Muawiyah, which actually happened in the 60th year after Hijrah, the issue of Yazid came in. Now, who is Yazid? As I explained last week, so Yazid, there's one Yazid who is the elder brother of Muawiyah. He was one of the greatest Sahaba. And then there was the son of Muawiyah, which is also called Yazid. So we are talking about now Yazid ibn Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan. So Muawiyah's Khilafah, it actually started from the 40th year of the Hijrah, which is at the end of the 30th year of the Hijrah. So 10 years of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of his prophethood, 30 years of the righteous caliphate, and then, so we reach 40 years, and then 40 to 60, 20 years, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he actually ruled. Hassan radiallahu anhu, he actually passed away in the 50th year of the Hijrah. Okay? So from 50th year of the Hijrah to 60th, there is no problem, there is no issue. Hussein radiallahu anhu, he took the bayt of Muawiyah. Hussein radiallahu anhu and Hassan radiallahu anhu, they both took the bayt of Muawiyah and accepted the caliphate of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. There was no problem. So the Ummah was united and there was expansion. Even the Battle of Constantinople, the first army which was sent to Constantinople by Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. So Yazid actually was born in the 26th year of the Hijrah. So absolutely, you can say around more than 15 years after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. So there is an authentic narration in Sahih al-Bukhari which actually says that the first army from my ummah to attack the city of Caesar shall be forgiven. This is what Prophet ﷺ said. So Muawiyah anhu, he actually dispatched an army, which was the first army to be dispatched to Constantinople. The great Sahabi Abu Ayyub al-Ansari was part of this battle, and Yazid and Hussein, both of them were part of this battle. Both of them participated in this battle. And as we are aware that Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, he requested Yazid to move on and charge towards the city of Constantinople, so that he is then buried as near to the walls of Constantinople as possible. And this is what actually happened. That even to this day, he is Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, the great Sahabi. His actually grave is near within the city of Istanbul. It's near the walls of the actual Constantinople fortress which was there. Now, this was the kind of the situation. Now, due to this hadith now, as I said, the Prophet ﷺ said that the first army from my ummah to attack the city of Caesar shall be forgiven. Now, because of this hadith, we within Sunni Islam, we do not open our mouths again. Before I say that, I would say that Yazid is not a Sahabi. He was born in the 26th year of the Hijrah, after Hijrah. So, we do not open our mouths against anyone or send lana upon anyone. And the reason we have this philosophy is very plain and simple. We disagree. We can discuss the historical narrative. We can say that someone has done something wrong, but sending lana upon individuals by naming them is not from amongst the etiquettes of Ahlul Sunnah. It's not from amongst the etiquettes of the scholars of Ahlul Sunnah, and this is not the etiquettes of how we as Ahlul Sunnah, we should be behaving. Our behavior needs to be in a general context, in a very generalized way, which is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with the people to what they have done. Okay? And now let's actually see that what Yazid has done and where is the conflict. So as I explained, that at the death of Hassan ibn Ali, after that, Muawiyah nominated Yazid to be the Khalifa after him. Okay. Now, again, like I said, we are not going to be doubting the intention of a Sahabi, the niyyah of a Sahabi. And his theory, could have been or was that he has seen this issue, the wars, the civil wars amongst the Muslims. He wants to ensure that there is civility, there is comradeship, and the Muslim Ummah at large is not divided. And he might have thought that, okay, fine, if Hassan ibn Ali being the son of Ali, was the Khalifa, then why can't my son be a Khalifa? Okay? You can agree to disagree, or you can disagree, with this decision. It's again, it's an open philosophy, it's an open theme, but one thing is for sure, that we take as Ahlul Sunnah, we take our dictates from the second righteous Caliph, Umar radiallahu anhu, on this issue of actually naming the kin as the Khalifas. So what did Umar radiallahu anhu do? He formed, so who were the 10 Ashra Mubashara? We know the names. The 4 Caliphs, and then Talha and Zubair, then Saad bin Abi Waqas, then Abdullah bin Amr bin As, Amr bin As, and then, not Amr bin As, Abdurrahman bin Auf, and then Sayyid ibn Zayd. So these are the 10 kind of Ashra Mubashara. So after the death of after the death of Abu Bakr, how many remained? And Abu Ubaidah, Abu Ubaidah as well. So Abu Ubaidah and Abu Bakr had passed away when Umar radiallahu anhu was stabbed by Abu Lolo, Majusi. He was stabbed, and as he was about to die, we know that the shura he made was of 6 people. Who were these 6 people? And so he actually ranked the Sahaba, and he wanted to have the Caliphate amongst the Ashra Mubashara. So there was Osman, Ali, Talha and Zubair, 4, Saad bin Abi Waqas, 5, and Sayyid bin Zayd, 6. These were the 6 people which were part of the Shura, or kind of the people who could have been nominated by Abdurrahman bin Auf as the 7th Ashra Mubashara to select the Khalifa from. And why didn't he actually name Abdurrahman ibn Auf from amongst the people who could have been a Khalifa? Because Abdurrahman ibn Auf was a brother-in-law of Umar radiallahu anhu. So he established for the generation of Muslims to come that no one should say that Umar radiallahu anhu nominated from someone from amongst his family to be a Khalifa. So this was the greatness of Umar radiallahu anhu. So one thing is for sure, that we as Ahlul Sunnah, we believe this to be the case, that obviously, this is how it was understood. But this is not to suggest that afterwards, even let's say, if the rulers are from the kinship of one another, then they are not to be called khulafas. Otherwise, there won't be any khilafa for 1400, almost you can say 1300 years, because the Umayyads, all of them were kind of the descendants of one another. Again, I'm not going to be going to the tangent of that history. Because obviously the real Umayyad Caliphate actually evolved from Marwan ibn al-Hakam, which was the brother of, which was the cousin of Usman radiallahu and the brother of Muawiyah radiallahu. Now, so coming back to the situation. So 16. So Muawiyah passes away. Now Muawiyah passes away. Before the passing of Muawiyah, Muawiyah announced Yazid to be his successor, and he actually then wanted that the people give bay'ah even to his decision in his lifetime, that Yazid is going to be the successor. A few of the Sahaba, they did not agree to this, and amongst them were Hussein radiallahu anhu. He did not give bay'ah. Abdullah ibn Zubair, Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Umar. All of these great Sahaba, they did not give bay'ah, to this succession planning of Muawiyah. So Yazid, Muawiyah passes away. Yazid becomes the Khalifa. When Yazid becomes the Khalifa, so these 5 individuals, they haven't given bay'ah. Okay. Now, obviously, there was an issue of getting the bay'ah. Otherwise, there's going to be intishar, there's going to be fitna amongst them again. So what Yazid does is that he dispatches his troops and he asks the governors, which are serving Makkah and Medina, and most of these great Sahaba are within Makkah and Medina, to give the bay'ah to Yazid. So what happens? So Abdullah ibn Umar, obviously, he kept away from politics and he agreed to give bay'ah. He gave the bay'ah. Abdullah ibn Abbas did the same as well. So the two kind of remaining individuals were Hussein and Abdullah ibn Zubair. They both did not give the bay'ah. Now there are various narrations. Some of the narrations say that Abdullah ibn Zubair, he moved to Makkah before this bay'ah to Yazid was requested. And some of the narrations say that when the governor called both Abdullah ibn Zubair and Hussein to give the bay'ah, then at that night Abdullah ibn Zubair left. Yeah. So whatever is the case, some of the scholars say that he actually had moved to Makkah beforehand. So anyway, so Hussein he requested the governor of Medina that give me some time, and in fact what I will do is that I would actually give the bay'ah to you in the morning, yeah, in front of everyone, because then that would be better for you, and in front of people. If I give the bay'ah, then obviously it's easier for you to really be accepting of the bay'ah. Now the governor said, okay, fine, do that. And so what then Hussein did, he actually during the night time, he also moved from Medina to Makkah. Okay, he also moved. Now, this was the situation, and this news of Hussein not giving bay'ah, obviously this was big news. This was breaking news. This was huge story. Yeah, that he has moved to Makkah without giving bay'ah to Yazid. Now, obviously, the Kufans, they rejoiced. Now, again, I would spend a little bit of time explaining to you this issue of why do people say, that the Kufi la Yufi theology, which, some of the people actually say that the Kufans were the traitors. Again, yes, this was absolutely true, and when we actually dissect the story of Karbala, you will actually see this was the case. But as brothers and sisters, as we know that at the time of the Khilafah of Ali radiallahu anhu, when he moved the capital from Medina to Kufa, he trusted the Kufans, and there were a lot of people in the army of Ali who actually used to really look up to Ali, and they were actually called the Shia to Ali. Yeah, and Shia means that ascribing to yourself to the ideology of that person, being very close to that individual. So even we can say, for example, that if I love Ali radiallahu anhu, and inshallah, alhamdulillah, I love Ali radiallahu anhu to the core of my heart, then I would say that I am also Shia to Ali. So this is the following the ideology of an individual. You can say that person is, because the love of that person, he is close to that individual. So this concept of the people who ascribed to the philosophy, the political movement of Muawiyah, they were called Shia to Muawiyah. And the people who ascribed to the political philosophy of Ali radiallahu anhu, they were called Shia to Ali. So in Kufa, there were a lot of times when Ali radiallahu anhu actually he requested a number of things from the Kufans. Again, I'm not going to be going down to the history lane, because this is not the topic of our topic, yeah, because I want to come to the theology. But he was, you guys might have heard, especially the Ahlul Sunnah amongst you, you might have heard that the Kufans, they betrayed Ali, and there was letters which were written, and Hussein Anha was told that why do you want to trust the Kufans? Why do you want to go to, why do you trust them if they're even writing to you? Why do you really not understand how they betrayed Ali, etc., etc.? You might have heard these kind of news. So this was very much true, and we have actually anecdotes from the actual books of the Shias which mention the betrayal of the Shia to Ali in Kufa towards Ali radhiyallahu anhu, even to the fact that they were not able to protect Ali radhiyallahu anhu from the Khawarij, eventually, as I explained last week, when he was killed. Okay? Now, so the situation is now that Hussein radhiyallahu anhu and Abdullah ibn Zubair, they are in Makkah. They are not giving bay'ah to Yazid. And after hearing this news, now the Kufans, they start writing letters to Hussein. The different tribes of Kufa, they write letters to Hussein, and Hussein is receiving messages left, right, and center from the major tribes, and it is said that there were more than 60 messages which he received. That, you come and you have the right to the caliphate, and why is Yazid, being made the Khalifa, and, we are with you, we want to become part of the political movement to drive away the caliphate of Yazid. You come and we'll support you. Yeah, so this is the kind of the messages which Hussein radhiyallahu anhu is receiving. Now, when he is receiving these messages, and genuinely he is a contender to become a Khalifa. Yeah, and as the righteous from amongst the Sahaba, obviously he is amongst the top contenders. No one can deny this fact. And whosoever denies this fact, then he needs to really truly understand, the virtues of Ahlul Bayt. He is a rightly, you can say he is a rightful owner, or if you want to call it owner, or he is the candidate to become a Khalifa. There is no argument, there is no doubt. Okay? Now, when this is happening, and people now are speaking to Hussein, that Hussein, look at what these Kufans have done before to your father. Do not trust them. And make sure that whatever you do it with sincerity. And from a sincerity from which perspective? Obviously he was sincere. We are not debating sincerity of Hussein. Sincerity from an angle that you understand the sincerity of the Kufans, that they really are going to be with you. Then what Hussein did, he sent his cousin Muslim bin Aqil. So Aqil radhiyallahu anhu, the brother of Jafar and Ali, so Aqil bin Abdul Muttalib. So he sent his cousin Muslim bin Aqil bin Abdul Muttalib to Kufa on a scouting mission, on a mission to actually see that how much support is going to be there, how much support is he going to be getting. Okay? So now, this is what is happening in the 60th year of the Hijrah. Okay, this is what is happening in the Zilqada of the 60th year. Now, Muslim ibn Aqil, he went to Kufa. He travels to Kufa, and around about 12,000, Tabari mentions that around about 12,000 Kufans, they give bay'ah to Muslim ibn Aqil, which was sent by Hussein on this mission to collect, to see the true honesty of the Kufans. And more than 12,000 they give bay'ah to Muslim ibn Aqil on behalf of Hussein radhiyallahu anhu, that we are going to be with you, we are going to be siding with you, let's overthrow the governor of Yazid in Kufa, and let's start our journey towards the Caliphate. And on this, obviously this is a large number, and it is said that the total population of Kufa would not have been more than, again, if I recall exactly the figures, it is said between 40 to 50,000. Yeah, so 1/4, you can say, of the people have given the bay'ah. Now, so Muslim ibn Aqil writes a letter to Hussein that come immediately to Kufa now. The earth is leveled, the situation is under control, come to Kufa. And this letter is dispatched and Hussein receives the letter. Obviously, Yazid knows the situation that Hussein has moved to Makkah, and his spies informs him that Muslim ibn Aqil has been sent to Kufa, and he absorbs the current governor of Kufa, and he sends this ruthless young individual by the name of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. So Ibn Ziyad, the famous, how can I call him? He was one of the most, you can say, hated individuals in history. Ibn Ziyad, he was sent as a governor to Kufa from Yazid. And he was amongst the people who was known to get the job done. He wanted to rise amongst the political Umayyad dynasty, and he was the young guns of those days. So Ibn Ziyad, he was sent to Kufa as a 28-year-old guy with only 17 people. So he dismissed the governor of Kufa and established himself to be the governor. He enters in Zilqa'dah of the 60th Hijri. Now, when he's entering with just 17 people, and the shrewd guy he is, now what is his objective? He wants to get to the bottom of Muslim ibn Aqil. What is he up to? And who are the people who are supporting Hussein within Kufa? This is what he wants to get to. Because the shrewd person he is, obviously he cannot fight more than 12,000 people within Kufa, because there's going to be a revolt against him. Yeah. So he has a spy. He then gives this spy a lot of wealth and money, and he devises a plan that this spy is going to go to the various tribes which are thought to be supporting Hussein with this money, that I am one of the Ahlul Shia from Sham, from Syria, and I want to hand over this money which I've collected from Sham, from the Ahlul Shia, to the leader or whosoever is in charge of the movement to throw away the Caliphate of Yazid. Okay, so this spy, this spying mission he establishes, this Ibn Ziyad. So this spy, from one person to the other, from one tribe to the other, eventually he reaches a person by the name of Hani ibn Urwa. He reaches that individual who is actually protecting Muslim ibn Aqil. Yeah, by pretending a Shia to Ali, with the money, he reaches the home of Hani ibn Urwa. And Hani ibn Urwa, again, it is said that he also played a double kind of a role for the Umayyads. He was from amongst against the cabinet members of the governorate, and he was a regular in the governorate, and he was internally on the side of Hussein, but kind of outwardly he was favoring the Umayyads. So Hani ibn Urwa, he is then caught by the men of Ibn Ziyad, and he is brought in front of Ibn Ziyad, and he denies. He denies that no, I'm not part of the movement, and I'm not supporting Muslim ibn Aqil. The plot is exposed. The plot is exposed, and he is obviously then tortured, and he is not done with in a nice manner. He's not dealt with in a nice manner. And eventually, what happens is that the tribe of Hani ibn Urwa, they actually gathered together. And Muslim ibn Aqil, when he realizes that Hani ibn Urwa has been taken by the guards to the castle, to the palace, he then calls upon the 12,000 people who gave the bayah, and they had a secret message, and the secret message was that, Ya Mansur Ahmed. So this was the secret message, Ya Mansur Ahmed, that you actually, when this message is given, then all the Kufans are going to come and they're going to be supporting Muslim ibn Aqil, the 12,000. So out of the 12,000, only 4,000 came out to fight against Ibn Ziyad. So two-thirds gone, only one-third remaining. Now, within the tribes which came, so Ibn Ziyad actually worked his magic, and he actually worked out a deal by giving them bribes, by having emotional blackmails, by sending them their mothers and fathers, by calling, telling them that you're going to be given higher positions in my office, etc., etc. And within, you can say, morning to evening, from amongst the 4,000 Kufans, which came with Muslim ibn Aqil to get Hani ibn Urwa freed, what happens? Only now 70 of them are now left. Out of the 4,000, 70 are left. And by the time it is Maghrib, only 10 to 30 people are actually left with Muslim ibn Aqil. Yeah? And Muslim ibn Aqil, obviously, he is the cousin of Hussein. He is the nephew of Ali. He is the son of Aqil, the brother of Ali. And he is left alone by the Kufans within 12 hours. And as he then moves to find his way from amongst the tribe of Kinda, which is from amongst the tribe of Kufa, which was known to be faithful to Hussein, he went there, and it is said that by the time it was night time, not even a single person was left with the cousin of Hussein, Raziyallahu ta'ala anhu, Muslim ibn Aqil. This was the actual betrayal, the true betrayal of the Kufans. So all of them abandoned Muslim ibn Aqil. And poor Muslim ibn Aqil now, he is not having any food, he is not having any water, he doesn't have any shelter, he doesn't have a clue what he has to do. So he literally acts like a beggar for food and water. And he goes to this tribe of Kinda, and he then knocks on one of the doors because he wants to eat and he wants to have shelter. Yeah. And one of the old ladies, she opens the door and she gives him shelter. Yeah. And he tells this lady the true story that, who he is. He is Muslim ibn Aqil. And so this old lady gives him shelter. So the son of this old lady, we don't know his name, whatever his name was. So he actually was you can say a very not a nice guy. Obviously, he's a very person who is greedy for money. So he asks his mother when he comes the next day that who is this man, and then obviously the mother tells him who this person is, and then he takes authorization, approval from the mother. Okay, I'll go to the masjid in the morning to pray, and instead he goes to the masjid, to the troops, and tells them that Muslim Aqil is hiding with us. Okay. Now, guys, I can actually, because the time is up, so I'm nowhere near to what I wanted to cover today. So I think I'll make this part 1, guys. Okay, I'll make this inshallah part 1. Next week is going to be Eid, inshallah, in some parts of the Muslim world. For us in Saudi Arabia, the Eid is inshallah on Friday. For some of the parts of the Muslim world, the Eid is going to be on Saturday, inshallah. So I think what I'll do is probably I'll do the lesson, or I might not do a lesson. I'll see how it goes, but I think I'll stop here, inshallah. So tomorrow, guys, we have a major day. We have this homeschooling session with our Sunday night Raw show, which is every Sunday at 8 p.m. Saudi time and 10 p.m. PKT and 6 p.m. UK time. Do not obviously miss this very important session for all of you who are interested in knowing more about homeschooling, etc. So inshallah, I'll see you tomorrow. And like I said, I'll try to record a session, or maybe I'll do a live session next week. Yani, I'll see what to do when it comes to it. So jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.